Have you ever opened your mailbox and wondered if it could kill you? From 1978 to 1995, a shadow stalked America. Bombs arrived in plain packages. No fingerprints, no pattern, no mercy. He struck scientists, professors, airline executives, anyone who symbolized the modern world's march forward. 17 years, 3 lives lost, 23 injured. Fear seeped into every corner of American life. He didn't want money. He didn't want fame. He wanted to send a message, a declaration of war against technology, against society, against everything humanity considered progress. His name was Theodore Kaczynski, but history would remember him simply as the Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski was born in 1942 in Chicago, a small, quiet child with a mind that burned brighter than anyone around him. At 2, he could read fluently. By 9, he solved equations most adults struggled to comprehend. His IQ was 167, a genius trapped in the body of a lonely boy. School couldn't understand him. Classmates shunned him. Teachers stumbled in conversation with him. Ted wasn't just smart, he was different. And in America, being different often meant being alone. At 16, he entered Harvard, a teenager among grown men, thrown into an elite world without guidance, without friendship, without protection. Harvard should have been his dream. Instead, it became his prison. Other students laughed, argued, lived. Ted watched silently, drifting further away with each passing day. And then came the experiment. Psychologist Henry Murray, once connected to CIA mind control projects, enlisted Ted in a study under false pretenses. For 3 brutal years, Ted endured relentless psychological attacks. His beliefs mocked, his identity torn down. Every session filmed, every reaction analyzed. They weren't studying Ted, they were dismantling him. Ted remembered everything, every insult, every betrayal. And while professors packed up their notes, Ted packed something else. Resentment, isolation, silence, and the dark seed of something yet to come. After graduation, Ted earned his PhD in mathematics. Becoming a young professor at UC Berkeley, he had everything: brilliance, prestige, respect, and yet he felt nothing. 2 years later, without a word, he resigned, left academia, left society, left hope. Ted retreated to Montana's wilderness. Alone, he built a tiny wooden cabin, no electricity, no running water, no phone, just trees, silence. Enraged, he hunted his own food, grew vegetables, read by lantern light, but peace eluded him. The modern world crept closer, planes overhead, highways cutting through forests. Noise, always noise. Ted escaped the world, but not his hatred of it. So he wrote hundreds of pages condemning technology, consumerism, a modern life, but words weren't enough. In 1978, he built his first bomb. Crude, handcrafted. He mailed it to a professor at Northwestern University. It exploded. No deaths, but a statement. This wasn't random. It was personal. For 17 years, bombs arrived at universities, airlines, computer labs, advertising offices. 3 dead, 23 injured, and no trace of the perpetrator. The FBI launched the largest manhunt in American history, but found only ashes. Ted didn't seek money. He didn't crave fame. He wanted a revolution. Each explosion was a chapter in his unspoken manifesto, a cry that modern life had imprisoned humanity, and he would break the bars. In 1995, Ted offered a chilling deal: publish his manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future, and he would cease bombing. The government hesitated, give in, and they encouraged terrorists refuse and risk more deaths. Ultimately, they published it. September 19th, 1995, the Washington Post printed the full text. Millions read it, some horrified, some intrigued. Ted's words were sharp, furious. He denounced industrialization, technological dependence, political polarization. He warned that without radical change, society would become enslaved by its own machines. And across America, in the darkest corners, some nodded in agreement. Among those readers was David Kaczynski, Ted's younger brother. David recognized the voice, the phrasing, the quiet rage hidden in the lines. He hoped it was coincidence. His wife, Linda, insisted, "This sounds like Ted." Old letters, essays, writings compared side by side. The similarities were undeniable. David agonized for months, torn between loyalty and duty. Finally, he made the hardest choice of his life. He contacted the FBI. Samples were matched. The ghost that haunted America for 17 years had a face, and it was family. April 3rd, 1996. FBI agents surrounded a tiny cabin in Montana's woods. Inside, bomb-making materials, handwritten journals, a live bomb ready to mail, and the original manifesto draft. Ted Kaczynski was arrested. No gunfight, no grand speech, just a hollow-eyed man led away in silence. In 1998, Ted stood trial. His lawyers argued insanity. Ted refused. He wasn't crazy, he claimed. He was right. The court had other ideas. Facing overwhelming evidence, Ted accepted a plea deal to avoid execution, life in prison, no parole. He was sent to ADX Florence, the Alcatraz of the Rockies. No windows, no human contact, only a 7 by 12-foot cell. Ted Kaczynski, once a boy genius, would live and die in isolation. In 2023, after decades in solitary confinement, Ted took his own life. No headlines screamed, no crowds wept. His death passed almost unnoticed. Today, Ted's cabin sits behind glass in a museum, a relic, a warning of how brilliance can sour into bitterness, how genius, left abandoned and twisted, can birth monsters. People still debate his warnings. Was he a prophet about technology or simply a madman? There are no easy answers, only uneasy echoes. Ted Kaczynski died alone, but the questions he forced us to ask still haunt us.